Hello, Forex traders. Welcome to the weekly live room of binary.com. We're going to take a look at the Forex market and the charts in just a moment. But of course, as always, we're going to take a look at the PowerPoint here. First of all, we start at 8 a.m. GMT time every Monday live, just in case you weren't aware. And this risk disclaimer, first of all, explaining, of course, that trading for exchange and other global financial markets is considered high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Please seek the advice of an independent financial advisor for more information on that. And this webinar is for educational purposes only. So thank you for your attention on that. Good. Well, if you're not aware, we have this live session, but if you post and paste your name and email address at this blog.binary.com/weekly trading room, you will get an email heads up and warning when the recording is ready, and of course you can watch that recording at any time you want. This is a weekly heads up, so we're going to take a look at what we can expect this week based on last week's of price action on the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar yen, AUD USD, and XAU USD, and we're going to do that right now. Good. So let me move this and you can take a look at, for example, what we have this week. Well, today we have on Monday, December the 16th, we're taking a look at the ECB President's speech today and some AUD USD monetary policy statements, meeting minutes. Then tomorrow we have some lighter news, such as, for example, the Bank of England and Australia speaking. But on Wednesday we have very important pound news. You can see here unemployment rate and stuff like that, but also on the USD FOMC. Now, of course, we're also going into Christmas, so that's something we have to be aware of. And the volatility and price movements for the holiday seasons and New Year's Eve might be decreasing, so be aware of that. This is, first of all, the dollar yen, and we're going to take a look at what we can expect. And in fact, interesting enough, all these pairs, the euro dollar, AUD USD, dollar yen, pound dollar, are critical spots. They have big supportive resistances and they have good trends. And it's the question whether the trends can push through the supportive resistances or will the support resistances stop the trends from materializing. They are at break or bounce spots, which means, as I said, the resistance or support is going to crack and the trend will push through those levels, or the supportive resistances will hold the trend from continuing. Let's take a look at this dollar yen first of all. Why is that so with the dollar yen? Well, first of all, we see this break of the dark blue lines to the upside. That was a triangle. If we zoom out a bit, you can see the dark blue lines representing a triangle here on the dollar yen, and price has broken to the upside and has been testing the top at 103.70 indicated by those red lines. So price is pushing and attempted even to break above it, but we didn't do that sustainable. We don't have a close above that red line, meaning there's no sustainable break as yet, but we did challenge that level. So price is also in an uptrend channel indicated by the light blue lines. So with this said, basically a very nice uptrend channel, but red line coming in to act as resistance. So either this currency is going to continue with the uptrend. If we do push with sustainable above 103.70, that means price could actually go all the way to 110, 115, or even 120. If price breaks below these green lines, that means support is out of the way and we might be reversing and we'll be probably back in a downtrend. So a very interesting situation on this dollar yen. Which of the two will happen? And the same thing is valid, in fact, for the euro dollar. If you take a look at that, we see a bull flag on the lower time frames. This is only an hourly chart, but we see a major high here. This is this year's 2013 yearly high at 138.30. This is a major top. If price does break to the upside, and it does seem to be breaking as we speak, in fact, it looks like it's pushing, then that would be the target, and we shouldn't expect at first a break above that. Should be respected, and if we do break, only after a small retracement at minimum. Of course, that level doesn't necessarily have to break, but we are in an uptrend, so that would be a with the trend breakout to the upside. From a 4-hour perspective, though, we can see that the uptrend channel is nice. We have this blue uptrend channel, in fact, and that is working very nicely to the upside, and price is at a good angle. Now, if we break above or below, right, then we have more information. So if we break below this uptrend channel, we're probably reversing back to the downside. However, if we break above this purple line, which is resistance, and above the red line, then the euro dollar is probably breaking with the trend to the upside, and we can expect the currency eventually to go to 140 or 143. So here too, 138.30, just like the dollar yen's 103.70, the bounce or break spot, what we have to keep a close eye on and see how this could continue with the euro. And same thing basically. Key resistance close by, but an uptrend. Which of the two is going to be more powerful? We're going to take a look at the pound because that has a similar situation, although a bit reversed. Because in this regard, we have a nice uptrend channel, and the pound dollar, of course, was trending nicely to the upside. But there is a key difference here where you can see that the price has stalled with the uptrend. We had kind of like a double top, some divergence between those tops, and we've retraced pretty steeply against the trend. So is that already a reversal, or is this just a strong retracement for more upside? Both, in fact, are possible. That's why we're keeping an eye on this green line and the dark blue line. If we break above the dark blue line, probably it was a strong retracement, and probably this is continuing with the trend to the upside. And we can see the pound dollar, the cable, move up to 165, 166, 167.50. If price, however, were to respect the blue line, for example, or this top, we can see price then breaking below the green line, then probably this is a potential reversal and price could fall to challenge, for example, this bottom at 159. So that is a very interesting bounce or break spot, but in this case, actually a bounce spot for more uptrend continuation. And you can see why is that green line important, because of these tops right in here. So it's an interesting situation. Also because the pound dollar is breaking through a potential triangle as well to the upside here, which means that 167.50 would be the next top that could be challenged on the cable. So cable 2 at a very important level. Let's take a look at the Aussie. The Aussie as well is trending to the downside, in fact, whereas the euro and pound are trending to the upside. Aussie is definitely in the downtrend. And if we take a look at this hourly chart, we can see that the AUD USD is making a nice bear flag, in fact, and that is a potential weakness for more downside. That is a corrective price action within this downtrend, which means that downside continuation is likely. So in that regard, we can expect that more downside. Whether price will first retrace higher to, for example, the 50 fib or the 61.8 at 90 is possible. We could see a spike up, and then that should be resistance for more downside. And what is the target for the downside? Most likely this green line at 88.50 and 88.60. This all is resistance. All these fips are resistance, just like these bottoms will act most likely as a resistance spot as well, and these moving averages as well. So, and the top of the trend channel. So that is all resistance for potential more downside up to 88.50. Or, of course, if the darker blue line were to break, we could see a fall as well. So in that regard, this is looking very much like a bear flag pattern, which is a downside continuation. If we look at the daily chart, why is 88.50 or 60 the main target? Not only because it's a fib level, but also because there's a daily bottom in play right there at that green line. If we break 88.50 eventually, though, price could fall all the way to 85. So interesting trend here, but also the trend bumping into bigger support, just like the other currencies. That wraps up, of course, the dollar yen, AUD USD, euro dollar, and pound dollar, but we still have gold. And XAU USD is in some ways similar because there is a support level at 1180, and price is relatively close by, is also in a downtrend, and funny enough, challenging this bottom. So once we break 1180, then there could be a lot more space to the downside, maybe to 1100, maybe even 2080, etc. However, at the moment, 1180 should be the target because that is the daily support. Although we are nicely in the downtrend, the best is to wait for a break of this green line where I have the red line over that. So let me make that magenta line so everything is clear. Best is to wait for a break of this magenta line for continuation to the downside, or maybe even wait for hook back to the top of the green line at around 1250 for more downside. If price breaks above the red at 1268 and above the downtrend channel, then price could be retracing higher, maybe up to 1360, for example, maybe to 1420, and then eventually 1520. But that's only if at least 1270 and the downtrend channel get broken. Otherwise, for the moment, this is looking more bearish down to the weekly bottom at 1180. So those are the lines in the sand of XAU I hope you enjoyed this week's heads up of the currency market and gold. Thank you so much for your attention. We'll be back next week, of course, on Monday, the 23rd of December, and also the 30th. We will not take any break during the holiday season. We'll give you the heads up of each week. Now, of course, if you want that recording, once again, go to blog.banary.com, weekly trading room, and you'll be able to get the recording and watch it anytime you want. Thank you so much for your attention. I wish you all great trading. Cheers.